Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the secrets behind big corporate moves and see if they're actually making sense. Today we're diving into a report from Matthews International Corporation, and let's just say their recent earnings call might have had more than just numbers to talk about, maybe some performance surprises that we need to unpack. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you love uncovering the real story behind SEC filings like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And hey, we've also got a fantastic community over on Discord where we break down these reports even further. The link is in the description below, so come join the conversation. Alright, so here we have a current report filed on August 6th of 2025, relating to events that are happening right around August 5th of 2025. What does this mean for Matthews International? Well, it typically means they're announcing something significant, and in this case, it's all about their financial performance. Matthews International Corporation is our focus here. They're incorporated in Pennsylvania and have a pretty standard setup filed with the SEC. Now, what's really interesting about these filings is what they reveal under the hood about how the company is doing financially. This report specifically flags changes related to their financial results and public disclosures. Think of it as a company's way of telling everyone the latest score and what's going on behind the scenes. Matthews is publicly traded, and their main stock, the Class A common stock, is listed on the Nasdaq Global Select Market. That's a pretty big deal, meaning it's one of the more prestigious exchanges. So the big news here, filed under a section that basically says results of operations and financial condition, is that on August 5th, Matthews put out a press release. This press release announces their earnings for the third fiscal quarter of 2025. This is where we get the core financial snapshot. They've conveniently attached that press release as Exhibit 99.1, giving us a direct look at how they say they performed during that quarter. Then there's usually another key part that often comes with earnings, and that's a Regulation FD disclosure. This section, specifically item 7.01, tells us that on the same day, August 5th, Matthews also posted their earnings call presentation on their website. This presentation, which is another Exhibit 99.2, typically dives deeper into the numbers, explains the results, and often provides guidance for the future. It's like the company's official story explaining the press release. Importantly, they are telling us in this filing that this information, while shared, isn't officially filed in the same way as other parts of their reports. This is a common tactic to share information without exposing themselves to certain legal liabilities under specific acts. They want to be transparent, but also manage their risk. The core of what we want to look at are the actual numbers. While this filing itself, an 8K, is more of an announcement of events, it points us to the detailed results. We're looking for how much money they made, how much it cost them to make it, and what their profit looks like. We want to see if their revenue is growing or shrinking, if their expenses are under control, and if they're making more or less money than they were last year during the same period. Think of it like this. If a company's stock is trading at a certain price, that price is supposed to reflect the company's future earnings potential. Numbers don't lie, or at least they shouldn't if a company is being audited properly. So when a company releases its earnings, it's a crucial moment for investors to see if the company is living up to expectations or if there are any red flags that might impact the stock price. While this specific 8K filing doesn't contain the financial tables themselves, it serves as the notification that these results are out. The attached exhibits, particularly the earnings press release and the teleconference presentation, are where you'd find the juicy details. Usually these documents will highlight key metrics like revenue, earnings per share, gross profit margins, and net income. We'd be looking for year-over-year growth or decline. For example, if their revenue grew by 10%, that's often seen as positive. If it declined by 5%, that could signal trouble, perhaps a loss of market share or weaker demand for their products. We also want to understand what is driving these numbers. Is it increased sales volume or perhaps higher prices? Are their costs going up or down? For instance, if raw material costs increase significantly, that eats into profits unless the company can pass those costs on to customers. This is where financial analysis becomes important. A simple reporting of a number isn't enough. We need to understand the story behind that number. For Matthews International, understanding their performance this quarter could be especially telling depending on the industry they operate in. Without the actual numbers here, we're speculating on what the press release and presentation might reveal. However, the fact that they are issuing this report and making this information public is inherently significant. It's a signal to the market that there's something new and important to digest. The press release is the first place to look. It will likely start with a summary of their key financial achievements or challenges for the quarter. They'll probably highlight their sales figures, perhaps comparing them to the same quarter in the previous year. They might also talk about their earnings per share, which is a crucial metric for investors. If earnings per share have gone up, that's generally a good sign. If it's gone down, investors will want to know why. The presentation, on the other hand, is where the management team often provides more context. They might use charts and graphs to visually represent their performance, making it easier to understand trends. They could discuss the factors influencing their results, such as economic conditions, competitive pressures, or new product launches. They might also offer guidance for the upcoming quarters, giving the market an idea of their future expectations. Now let's talk strategy and what this might mean for Matthews. Companies like Matthews International often operate in specific sectors, and their performance is tied to those sectors' health. For example, if they are in manufacturing, they might be dealing with supply chain issues or changes in consumer demand. If they are in a service industry, customer retention and market trends will be more critical. From a Warren Buffett style perspective, we want to see consistency and a clear understanding of the business. We're looking for companies that have a durable competitive advantage, meaning something that protects them from competitors. We also want to see management that is transparent and acts in the best interest of shareholders. This filing by providing the earnings information is a step towards that transparency. However, the quality of those numbers and the story management tells about them is what truly matters. Imagine if their revenue increased by a small amount, say 2%, but their cost increased by 10%. Despite making a little more money, their profitability would actually go down. This is why digging into the details like gross margins and operating expenses is essential. A 10% increase in costs without a corresponding increase in revenue could signal operational inefficiencies or unmanaged inflationary pressures. We also need to consider the broader economic landscape. Is inflation high? Are interest rates rising? These factors can impact a company's borrowing costs, consumer spending, and overall demand for its products or services. A company that demonstrates resilience. This filing doesn't give us the financials directly, but it's the official starting point to access them. The story behind these numbers from Matthews International's third fiscal quarter will reveal whether they are growing, shrinking, or holding steady in a potentially dynamic market. Now, looking at the pieces of information we do have. Matthews International is a publicly traded entity reporting its financial health. The key takeaway from this specific 8K is that they've announced their Q3 2025 earnings, and the details are in the supplemental materials they've provided. The critical analysis phase comes when we actually see those numbers. Are they beating expectations or missing them? Is their profit margin expanding or contracting? These are the questions that investors and analysts will be poring over. My take on this filing based on what's presented here is that it's a standard but important announcement. It's the company fulfilling its obligation to inform the market about its financial performance. The real insights, the strengths, weaknesses, risks, and opportunities for Matthews International will be found within the attached press release and presentation documents. Without those, we can only anticipate what they might reveal. The fact that they are sharing this information with the public is a sign of good corporate governance, but the substance of that information is what truly dictates the company's health and direction. Alright, that's our breakdown of what this Matthews International 8K filing signifies. What are your initial thoughts on what this earnings announcement might hold for the company? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. If you found this decode helpful and want more insights into corporate filings, please give this video a thumbs up and remember to subscribe for regular updates. And don't forget to join our Discord community, linked in the description to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next decode.